Hello and welcome back everyone. So in this video we will look at another React interview problem. So this time we will be creating our own hook, that is why did you update. So this hook will help in telling us why our component is re-rendering or what's the reason that our component triggers re-render. So if we take this example, we can see that this component will be re-rendered if the state is changed. So if I click on this button, the state will change and that state change will trigger a re-render and re-render and like when so this hook should get called up and display the information on our console that hey, the component is re-rendered and this has triggered the re-render. So, like if I click on increase, you will see that our component has logged some information on our console, and this says that component name app is re-rendered, and the object is this. Why is it re-rendered? Is because count has changed from 0 to 1. This is the reason that the app is re-rendered. So we'll try to code this up. We'll try to code this hook and see how we can do this. So here I have passed in the component name, and here I have also passed in an object. This is the object that we should watch for. We will watch for any value change in this object, and if there is any value change, then that means our component will be re-rendered, and we will log the information that the previous value of the object key was this, and the new value is this, and that is why the component is re-rendered. Now let's try to code this up. I will remove this thing. So this will be function use why did you update, and this will be component name, and this will be data. The data is a generic term because like since the change in props and since change in state can cause the re-render, so that's why I named it data. Now we'll do const previous data is equal to use ref. Right. Why am I using useref? Because useref helps me persist data between re-renders. So we can like the previous data will be available in the next re-render as well and the next to next re-render as well. So that's why I'm using useref here. Now I will call use effect. Use effect because I want this to run whenever my component gets re-triggered. So here, what I will do is I'll check if my previous data exists. If it exists, then I need to compare the data with the new data. So what I will do is const all keys. Uh, this will be okay. So all keys will be object dot keys previous data dot current and data, and this will be object dot keys this and object dot keys data and spread operator. Right. So I've got all the keys here. I have got all the keys here. Yeah. Now what I will do is I will loop over all the keys. I will loop over all the keys. For let I equal to 0, I less than all keys dot length I plus plus and check the value of the value added key in previous data as well as new data. So const key is equal to all keys I, and I will check if previous data dot current key is not equal to data data key. If it is not equal to, then that means anything is changed. Either our props are changed or either our state is changed. So we will just we'll create our object here, keys, changed keys, and here we will or changed object rather, and we'll store the data here. Change object key, and this will be from will be our old data. Old data will be our previous data dot current key, and this will be our new data key. Right. And at the end, when the loop is run, we'll check. Uh, okay. Yeah. Now when the loop is done, we will check if there are any keys in our in our changed object. If there is any keys present, then that means something is changed and component is re-rendered. So we'll here console log r component re-rendered, and here we will log our changed object, right? So and we'll also type in component name what has re-rendered, and yeah. Now let's try to run this. I have saved the code. I'll refresh this. There's nothing here. Now, but if I click on increase, okay, nothing is happening. Let's try to. Okay, yeah. I also need to assign my previous data dot current to new data. Previous data dot current to new data, because like the new data will become the previous data for the next re-render. So if I refresh this and rerun this, and if I click on increase, now I can see that component is re-rendered, but it is empty. If I click on decrease, component is empty. Let's try to see where we are going wrong. I'll console log all keys and refresh this. Okay, okay, all keys object is 0 in count. Okay, if I click on increase, okay, so object is 0 and its value is count, which this is not what we want. Um, what we want is I want to put it inside an array and not an object. Now if I rerun this, refresh this, and our old keys is count and count, okay. And now if I increase, I can see that object is getting logged, and why it is getting logged? Because count is changed and count is changed from 0 to 1. Okay, nice. Now if I click on decrease, I can see that my count is changed, component re-rendered is there, and count is changed from 1 to 0. Okay, awesome. So this is working as expected. Now, whenever our state is changing, our component gets re-rendered, and this logs the information that hey, this value is changed, and this value is changed from this to this, from this to that, right? So this is a very basic example of creating our own use why did you update hook. So like if there's anything else, please let me know in the comments, and I will see you in next one. Thank you so much.